I'm here today with Father Mike Schmitz, the chaplain at the University of Minnesota in Duluth. It's good to have you with us, Father Mike.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
So today I wanted to speak about being a college student and being porn-free. I don't know if there's any other environment that might be more conducive to the porn culture or falling back into porn. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, absolutely. There's a certain sense where, I work with youth as well, like high school students, junior high students, and so that's a struggle in that area of life as well, that time of life. But when you get to college, there's a number of things that just kind of crash around you. For one, there's virtually zero accountability in the sense that whether it's in your dorm room, your apartment, or wherever, there's no one who's other than a roommate who might be there, but probably isn't, that can come in and say, let me see your computer. Like, no one's going to, you don't have a mom or dad who's going to be there kind of like breathing down your neck or even just having any kind of sense of accountability. That's one thing. The second thing is, and almost, I don't want to say unlimited amount of free time, but a new introduction or new injection of an incredible amount of free time that I just don't know necessarily what to do with. Mm-hmm. And so unless I make a decision about what I'm going to do with my time, then it gets swallowed up in any number of different things. And if porn is a problem that I've got, then this is going to be a place that I just waste a lot of time. I mean, there's remarkable, even just to think about this, that there's a lot of really bad, really negative, humanly speaking and spiritually speaking, side effects when it comes to pornography. But even just the sheer amount of time that just a person lets dissipate from their life. So that's a huge other thing. So the lack of accountability, there's this massive amount of time with not a lot of stuff to do. But then there's also this third piece, which is there's a lot of isolation.
Yeah.
That, when I talk to, whether it be men or women, a lot of times when I speak with women who are, really kind of ensnared by pornography, one big thing is this desire for intimacy, this desire to be known, and this feeling of just a lack of that, both men and women.
Yeah.
And so here you are, you're in a new place, and you don't know anybody, or the relationships that you used to be able to count on, they're just, where do you go to now? So where I go to with all this free time, with no accountability, and with no one around, is I just turn to this easy kind of quote-unquote fix.
Okay. So you've got a lack of accountability, an abundance of free time, and then this desire for intimacy in a new environment in which you might just feel like one among many.
Yeah.
You desire to be known. It's difficult to create new relationships. So the environment's also going to be a little more stressful. So those are three things that are probably conducive to, begin looking at porn or to fall back into that. How would you counteract those things?
Well, so to be able to look at all three of those areas, it's a really important thing. The first thing is when there's no accountability. This is not a commercial, so I know this, but all of my students, every one of them who says, I'm struggling with, pornography and whatnot, I'm always like, Covenant Eyes, we need to let's do this. Let's put this on your devices, on your computer, because otherwise, a lot of times I'll talk to, years ago, before Covenant Eyes existed, we would have these accountability groups, and I don't know if you've ever, talked with anybody and those kind of things. Accountability is great when you want to be accountable.
Okay.
But then when you stop wanting to be accountable, then it's like, oh yeah, I should probably talk to that guy about, my friend about such and such, but I'm not gonna because I don't want to.
The other thing I have to inject here is, when I was in college, maybe when you were in college, if you wanted to look at porn 2 a.m, your accountability software was the thing you had to press to get on the internet. That was your accountability software.
It's the alarm that would go off. Right.
But now you're saying you're pointing these people to Covenant Eyes, and who is their accountability partner, and have they found it helpful?
Yeah, that's great. So a lot of times we have a bunch of Bible studies on campus, small groups on campus, and so a lot of times we'll say, okay, either ask the guy who's leading your Bible study or one of each other. Especially it helps a ton when whether it's the men or whether it's the women to say, okay, so the people in my study. Because especially the recognition of, I guess we're jumping to the last one. We have lack of accountability, free time, and then lack of intimacy. That last piece is intimacy or friendship, like real friendship that's significant. If I have someone in my Bible study, my small group, whatever, that I have to be kind of open and vulnerable in this area, that's going to really lend a lot to me like bonding with them and just becoming like, no, actually, we're not just buddies, we're more like brothers, and we're not just kind of friends or pals, we're sisters, and that helps a ton.
Okay.
So there's that, but there's also I'm the accountability person for a lot of our guys.
And Father, do you see like that this is actually helping in the lives of these people?
Yeah, cool. Definitely. I mean, there's a way in which this is a funny thing too. Is a lot of times, sometimes not a lot. Sometimes I'll talk to a guy and they're like, "Yeah, but it doesn't work because I found a workaround."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, well then shut down the workaround." I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's not gonna like, okay, signed up and I subscribed or downloaded it. Now I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about it ever. It's you're smart and you'll probably be able to figure out a way to get around whatever program you have. That's why the accountability isn't software. The accountability is another human being that gets connected to you through the software. So it's okay, where are you shutting? Okay, I found out that if I go here, I can work around it.
Have you been doing that? Yeah, that's the question that a human can ask you.
And let's shut it down. So that's one huge thing for accountability is coming. But the second thing is when it comes to that massive amount of time is to be able to say, what are your boundaries? What are your borders? What are your guardrails? Whatever the kind of thing is. And it's just a thing that I'll talk to my students again and again about this is probably if you're committed to avoiding some kind of negative behavior, in this case, pornography, and you're really committed to it, most likely 9 times out of 10, you're going to be on point. Like you're going to do a great job. Maybe 6 days out of 7, you're going to be on. But the problem is that 1 time out of 10 or that 7th day comes along, and then what do you do then? I mean, that's kind of the sense of like, so if I haven't built in like real like margins or guardrails or boundaries for my life, then I think like, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. But I would say, okay, what are your, you have the kind of, what are your triggers? What are your opportunities?
Very good.
That's the moment. So I'll talk to a lot of guys. I mean, some people are really, really enmeshed in it, and they're like, yeah, I mean, it's every day. I can't get away from it. And in that case, we have a different tack.
Okay.
But if it's someone who's like doing well, and it's like, no, it's just, I go like a good, 6, 7, 8 days, and then all of a sudden I crash. To be able to say, okay, what happens on that 6th, 7th,
where were
day?
you? Yeah, what was it that got you thinking?
Exactly. Where were you? It was, I got a little bit relaxed, and I thought, I can have that, if they're drinking age, I could have that extra beer.
Yes.
Or they say, that, it's fine, I'm just going to turn this movie on at 11 o'clock at night. Or I'm just going to check my email at 12:30. Like, if you're checking your email at 12:30, you're already making this unspoken, subconscious compromise with yourself.
Yes.
That it's not about the email, it's about what's coming after the email, and you know that.
Yes. And to say that, to own that, to speak that out loud, that can be quite embarrassing and quite kind of humbling. You're admitting, but it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to build in those boundaries, to be able to say, no, I can't. So it's because it's saying the easy no, and the easy no is not, okay, now I can click on this one more thing and then up comes my images. The easy no is, do I open my computer at 12:30 to check my email? No, that's easy.
Yeah, flee.
It's not easy later on.
I'm thinking of St. Philip Neri, I think. He talked about how when it comes to every other sin, we can act against it. If I feel the temptation to pride, I can humble myself and so forth. But he said, the only sin you can't do that with is the sin against purity. Because if you are tempted to be impure, you can't go out and be pure. He says, in that case, you have to flee. And it sounds like this kind of goes into what you're saying.
Yeah. It's where those spaces that you're putting between you and the thing that might be more powerful than you at this moment. Because again, when it comes to that fight, like if anyone's really engaged in the struggle, engaged in the fight, you realize sometimes it's stronger than me.
Yeah.
So if I fight it, I'm gonna get my butt kicked.
Yeah.
But
Saint Jose Maria Escriva said something similar in saying, "Don't be such a coward as to be brave. Flee."
That's good.
Yeah. So we've got the accountability taken care of. We have a lot of just free time when we go to college. So what's your recommendation to people who are in college in regards to that?
And I think that this is an opportunity to make a couple different life decisions. One decision is this free time is mine. or the other decision is this free time is mine to use well. I mean, there's two different things. That kind of thing of like, is this mine to spend, mine to fritter away, I guess. It's about me. And that's, I mean, if there's something when it comes to like our modern university system, and, you know, I'm not immune to it either. I wasn't immune to it when I went through. But it's everything's about you. Yeah. Like everything. This is your schedule. These are your classes. This is your free time. This is your whatever. And this is what you need to do for your life to be a success, you know, kind of all these things. So what really cultivates a sense of whether it be selfishness or entitlement or whatever, it's there. And so I can give into that, or I can say, actually, this time has been given to me in order to use so that I can ... you know, have craft an incredible life, so that I can invest in my future spouse, so that I can invest in my future vocation, so that I can be a gift to other people. And that recognition of, so if my temptation is either to be selfish or to be a gift, to be selfless, then I want to actively seek out opportunities to be a gift. I want to actively seek out opportunities. Where am I serving? Where am I giving? And that's a huge thing. It doesn't have to be all of the time, not with all of your free time has to be gone. But you could ask in the course of your week, you'd say, has there been one time when in the course of this week, you did something for someone else that you didn't have to do, that wasn't part of like someone else's plan, that they assigned you a task of like your assignment this week in class is to, you know, go do something good. Yeah. And I think that is just, it's a different orientation of how you look at yourself and how you look at the world. Is it about me, or is it about how I can be a gift?
Okay.
I mean, and that sounds really general and vague, but I guess I'll leave it there and see what you have to say about that.
Well, no, I think that's fantastic. And, you know, I'm sure you feel the same way, Father. So do I. 2 nights ago, I wasted my night watching 3 Seinfeld episodes. And they were hilarious. And then I woke up in the morning and there was bags of laundry and there was frustrations, you know, in my family. And so it's always the same thing. It's like, how am I going to use this time to be better? Because it's hard, right? And I think obviously this is the temptation of porn, is that it's so easy. And it's so easy to not only feel good, but to feel like the hero. Now, no doubt pornography is something that afflicts both men and women. But as a man, I want to feel like a knight. And pornography enables me to feel like that without ever having to bleed like one.
Yeah.
It's sort of similar to the reason I think many men get addicted to these war games on the Xbox or whatever. They can eat Cheetos and drink Mountain Dew and save the world. Nothing is required of them. Something similar with porn. But maybe along those lines, Father, in your experience on college universities, is porn just a guy's issue?
Not at all. I mean, more and more. And I'm really glad, and so here what I mean, I'm really glad that I'm talking to more and more women about it, not because I think more and more are struggling with it, but maybe that's the case. But the fact that there's a lot of shame. For guys, there's maybe a little bit of embarrassment. There can be some like, I just wish I didn't have to do this. But when it comes to a lot of women that I speak with who struggle with pornography, it is, there's a lot of shame and a lot of just, I feel, I'm a terrible, terrible person. That's even, I think it goes in some ways, that degree of shame makes sense only because a woman's heart is different than a man's heart. I mean, in that sense of just kind of that, but she's looking at her wound as her identifier. And just really blaming and really shaming on herself. And that's kind of one of these common markers that it's why it's really important, I think, for us to say, okay, it's common. Yeah. It happens to a lot of your sisters. Yeah. And you might not know that because in men's worlds, we talk about it a lot now. You know, if you get into a Bible study, okay, guys, let's get authentic. How many of you in the last week?
That's the first thing.
I mean, that's one of the things, like how we bond.
Yeah,
But for women, it makes, I think, in my experience, they get even more kind of self-enclosed. Okay. Because this is the thing. This is one of the things that I can't share. I'm not allowed to share. For guys, it's more and more shareable, but for really very few women, does it feel like a shareable kind of a thing?
Well, what's your solution to that, or what's your suggestion to young women who are watching you speak right now? They might be in university and think, that's exactly how I feel. None of my close girlfriends know about this. I mean, what are they to do?
Well, I think the first thing is going to be, and that's a really good question, because the first thing is going to be, you're not a freak. I mean, that's I mean, I've heard that word leveled against oneself, and even in your book, actually, that Delivered, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That
Audrey Assad, maybe?
Audrey Assad, she said, I saw myself as this freak. And I've heard that exact word used multiple times by multiple women describing themselves and their struggle with pornography.
Okay.
And just as a first word is that you're not a freak,
mm-hmm.
that you're a daughter of God, you're a child of God. He loves you, and he's not, it's huge, he's not ashamed of you. Yeah. He's not disappointed in you. He just loves you. And most likely, whatever your woundedness comes out of, it comes out of the fact that you are genuinely, authentically a woman who's made for love. And chances are really good that you probably at various times in your life have felt very alone. And this is just simply that kind of self-medication when it comes to feeling alone. So the first thing is you're not a freak. And the second thing is you're clearly made for love. I mean, this is even like a backwards sign of the fact that you're made for love. It's actually this the consequence of looking at porn or whatever isn't an indication that you're broken and you're a mess in this, as much as it is, you're wounded, but you're actually made for more. You're made for love. Okay. The third thing, and this is the thing when it takes action, is to be able to bring someone in on that, and then not bring the whole world in on it.
Sure.
But who is someone who is either a trusted sister or who is a trusted, kind of like would be spiritual mother, or aunt, I guess, but that kind of mentor type person that you would feel comfortable enough, or even maybe it's the priest, but at the same time, there's something that's really also really good about having a sister who you can say, here's what I'm going through, and that she's going to be someone who doesn't jump to this judgment that you might have jumped to on yourself, but is someone that you can have some honest conversations about what is it I'm really looking for, and my weakness and my wounds.
Excellent. All right, so we've saw that the three things that you see that contribute most to this sort of falling into porn would be the lack of accountability, the huge amount of undirected free time, and then just feeling isolated. And so the way that we can kind of respond to that, just as a takeaway as we close up in this video, is to become accountable, to get accountability software such as Covenant Eyes on your phone, on your computer, to stop making excuses, but just to do that. Because in becoming accountable, it's not just like software, it connects you to a real person who loves you, who's asking you questions, who wants the best for you. And then to realize that our time is our time so that we might benefit ourselves, so growing in our knowledge and our faith, and then helping other people, and then thirdly, just to kind of get involved in meaningful relationships and healthy relationships. Any other final words you want to offer us, Father Mike?
Well, thank you. That's it. I would say the last thing is this: if any of those one steps are difficult for a person, like I don't know where to go for this, I don't have any people in my life, is you can always turn to God, and you can always even not just turn to the Lord, but to pray. God, bring someone like that into my life. I don't know how to take action. I don't know where to find these people. Well, pray, God, bring someone like this. Bring someone like this into my life so that I can have someone that I have a deeper friendship with who can walk with me in this journey.
And of course, on theporneffect.com, there's a section in which people can and do upload their stories of the pain of porn, but the reality of recovery. And people are usually really honest. It's not this, there was this silver bullet and now I'm free. It's that I'm in this process of recovery. And so maybe our viewers can go there to be inspired and maybe to offer their own story. Thank you so much, Father Mike, for being with us.
Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate the opportunity.
God bless you.
You too.